Finally got a little rain here. It's a little late, but it's our little garden. Our volunteer tomato plant, one of them, did a lot better than the ones we planted in the pots. But we learned a little bit. We need a little bit more water catchment storage. Hopefully next growing season we'll do a lot better in our pots and not have to depend on our volunteer tomatoes as much. We had a piece of our roof let go, or a piece of the flanging on it. We were able to collect some water here, but that's since been repaired, so we won't have this barrel here next year. And someone ran off with our battery in our solar panel, stole it. So we weren't able to pump water out of our barrel this year, although I did hook it up to the battery a couple of times. But you can see our morning glories kind of got out of hand. We'll get them cleaned up. Then all of our sunflowers, we've got them trimmed up. And we got them setting along the fence so the birds will have a little something to eat. And here's the stalks from them. I'm going to chop those up and try to get them over here in the compost pile. And over here you can see we've still got a couple of volunteer tomato plants that are just going crazy over here, growing by our mulch pile, or not mulch, but our compost pile. I'll get this thing stirred up here in the next couple of days. There's our potato barrel. The potato barrel, I did a video on it. I might put some pieces of it in here, but it didn't do anything. The plants grew real well out of the top, but there was nothing. I think we got like two, I don't know, fist-sized potatoes, and then a bunch of, like 3 little ones that really didn't amount to much. But here you can see these tomatoes over here in where they were able to gather some moisture from from underground, plus the compost did pretty good. And of course, like I said, here in a day or two I'll be tearing all this down and kind of cutting and chopping it all up and throwing it in the compost pile. That compost was actually all of the dirt that was in those pots. Came from compost that we actually started with stuff that came from this driveway, like is growing right here when we first moved in here, and we'll do it again. I'll do it again this year. We'll pick up all of these little pieces of just, grass, weeds, whatever's growing in the parking lot here on this gravel. We pull up everything green, throw it over there in the compost pile, and that's how we got all the dirt for this, for all these pots. And then we got some stuff that we're using my wife's got some things she's drying out here to make some herbal remedies with. Some moss roses going crazy. Probably get some more of those going this year. This is all mint, all different kinds of mint in here. Spearmint, catmint. There's a couple other different kinds. Here's our neat little buddy, spider. And we got another one over here. These corn spiders. I don't know if you saw my video that I made. I'll put a link to it maybe, if I remember. But where I touched one of those and it just they kind of go crazy. They bounce their web back and forth. It was kind of neat. We'll be digging this up here in a day or two. Probably from about right here at this round spot all the way down through here. We're going to try to get some garlic going in here. And then the rest of this will be herbs and things that my wife grows. Some of them are really pretty, zinnia and stuff like that, but mostly they're herbs. In this corner, it kind of gets taken over by violet. And we make some violet jelly out of it. My wife made some, actually I think there's still one jar maybe left in the refrigerator, but the violet jelly she makes is really good. I like it anyway. I wish I could remember what all these are and what they were planted for, but a lot of them we use for herbal remedies and stuff. And then some of them, like I said, they're just to look pretty. The rain's kind of wiped out a lot of them, plus it's not the peak season for them right now. Some of them are still keep growing, doing pretty good. Here's some more weeds I'll have to be pulling out. Get them ready to throw up in the compost pile. This little area here, she got some stuff drying out here, some roots and things she's going to make something out of. We got some peppers over here that are kind of drying on the vine. We got some that are still yet to come on. And a couple here to pick. A hot lemon pepper, I believe is what those are called. And they are citrusy. I don't know about lemony, but they kind of taste a little citrusy. A few more moss roses down there. These turned out really good this year. There was a ton of these things in here. All different colors, all different kinds. If I'm not mistaken, this is basil. It's looking pretty good. And somewhere over here, oh, this was really pretty too. Some Swiss chard growing in here. We're going to probably have to pick some more of it here pretty soon. And there's some more basil growing over there in with that tomato plant. Our tomato plants didn't do very good this year. Like I said, we didn't have a lot of water to put on them. But the ones that, the volunteers that grew kind of later on, they seem to be doing pretty good. They're growing out of the gravel and doing pretty well. But anyway, that's about it. That's kind of what we grow on our little homestead here. We're getting a little better at it year over year. A little better this year than we did last year. Next year will be a little better. We're going to up our water catchment game. We don't have an outside spigot here, which I'm thinking about installing one. I don't know, maybe here pretty quick before it gets too cold. I'm thinking about putting one right down here. Putting one right there and getting it set up so that next year for water catchment, we really want to get water catchment, kind of get that stuff under control and seeing exactly how much we can grow, because when we do get some land for a homestead, we're probably not going to be able to afford to put a well in right away. So we'll be kind of dependent upon some kind of water catchment, and we want to kind of be able to get that under control before we attempt to go out and do it on a larger scale somewhere. Want to find out how much we're going to be using. Right now it looks like we probably need, I'm guessing at least 2, if not 3 or 4 of those ICB containers. I think will do us, and then I think we'll get plenty off of the runoff of this. This used to be a little tiny house here, but it's part of our neighbor's property. The same guy owns both places, but this used to be a tiny house. You can see that. But we're going to take that, and we're running off the eave spout here. And that's how we're filling up that rain barrel. And that does pretty good. I mean, the first time it rains, the rain barrel gets filled up. Unfortunately, it's just not enough. And we don't have any electric run out here to be able to pump it just yet. But we're getting it squared away. So, although I won't say we've failed, we found a couple of different ways that didn't succeed this year. But we still got some good tomatoes. We're able to make some salsa several times. Actually, still making it. Some of these volunteer tomatoes are, once every 2 or 3 days, we're picking enough for another batch of salsa. So that's good enough for us for right now. We're satisfied with that. But again, next year we want to have enough that we can actually can a bunch of stuff and maybe get some stuff canned. But anyway, that's a look at our little homestead here. Kind of how it's working. Gravel lot. Our little house used to be a blacksmith shop back in the 1840s. In fact, it was the first blacksmith shop in the little city that we live in. Yeah, I'll show it to you here real quick. You can see it over here. And it's been turned into kind of a small house. It's a nice little place. Everything, it's not going anywhere if a storm hits, I'll tell you that. This thing's built like, there's some places inside where you can see what it's made out of, and it's not like 2x4s that you can go to, your big box store and buy today. They're made out of, I don't know, I would say they're closer to 3x5 solid wood, oak, solid wood beams. So this place isn't going anywhere. And then there's other beams in it too that are like 8x8. There's one in there that's probably at least a 12x12. And it's still got some of the original bark and stuff that's like on the corners of it where it wasn't, it was as big as it was. When they shaved it off, there was still a little bit left on the corners, a little bit of the bark left on the corners. But yeah, well, that's what we got going right now. And I'll be making another video here in a day or two, maybe a week. But I'm getting ready to plant some garlic over there on the other side where I showed you. So that'll be a video coming up. Well, thanks for tuning in, and catch us next time. Thanks again. Don't forget to click like and subscribe for us. Helps out a little bit. Thank you.